Hey guys, it's like absolutely beautiful out here today. Well, I got, yesterday I was mentioning about cutting out some part of the, putting in a piece for a mount for the rear suspension to try to lower it some. So before I went, and cutting up and welding stuff and whatever, I thought I would spend the time to actually just put the front end components on and slide the bolts through and get the back end so it's on the ground, at least on one side, kind of level. But to try to get an idea of what this bike will look like, the way it is, and the stuff I'm putting on. But that rear shock, you see I got it apart and already cleaned up the center part of it. But right now that shock is in the bolt positions it would be in its full length. I was kind of starting to wonder if I had a aftermarket shock that wasn't really meant to fit the bike or something like that, because it just seemed like the back end was really high off the ground. It's kind of hard to see really with this camera. But anyway, you see here, see if I can get back far enough in this building. But you see here kind of what it's going to look like. The hub that's on this side is actually the hub for the other side. I just grabbed one and I'm like, oh, it's the wrong one, but oh well, it'll kind of give me an idea still. All it is just components are reversed on it. The front end of this thing will drop down a shade more than what it is, just because all that stuff isn't seated together, and it looks like I'm going to have to trim off a little bit of them bushings, because they're giving me trouble with going down in here. They're a little too wide. So you see, this one here is lined up with the bolt in it, but that one there's got about 1/4 of an inch to 3/8 of an inch to drop. So this suspension will kind of level out a little bit more than what it is. But those shocks are the same exact length as the stock ones. You can stand them up right beside each other and they're the same. So whatever these bikes have from the factory is what this one will be. How the arms are sitting. And then right now that wheel is actually not all the way on the threads, to try to give an illusion of how wide it'll be once everything kind of settles out, because as the suspension settles out, it does get wider. So, and you can see and I also kind of did a sort of thing in the back. I'll show you that. Pretty much these tires will be even on the sides as far as wall to wall, and then the back, I'm going to put 1-inch spacers on the back, so I just kind of left the spline off about 1 inch. But well, that's about all I got. I just figured I'd show you guys before I take this back apart. It's kind of a little sneak peek of what the stance and what the tires are going to look like on this bike, and how the bike does sit kind of high for all the bigger it is. This bike would have been narrower from the factory, and it's really tall, so it probably would have been an easy tipper. But I think with the lower to the ground, which lowers the center of gravity, and it will be widened out a shade by about 2 inches, 2.5 inches front and rear on each side. I should say, not all together. Oh, I gotta show you guys something else too. I was gonna put it in yesterday's video, but cut out a piece of frame from another bike, just the ass end of it, and I figured I'll strip all this stuff off of it, kind of polish off the welds. But I'm looking at maybe trying to replace this grab bar, which you can see it's totally mangled and twisted. But try to use this one to replace, you know, the one that's on here. Now, another thing I want to do too is probably when you stand this bike up, the length of this thing here makes sense, you know, because it'll probably be able to stand up straight. But I'm going to shorten it up. I'm going to have this thing come out to about right here, you know, the angle looped. This just looks kind of hideous with the length that it has. At least I think, anyway. Well, thanks for watching, and try to maybe see you whenever I actually have some done on this thing. So, alright, bye.